Yes, my sister Martha and I have been discussing your husband's sermons all week. It's wonderful that in 2 simple years he's taken on the spirit of Brooklyn.
Well, that's very gratifying, Miss Brewster.
You know, in living next to the church our lives, we've seen a lot of ministers come and go. The spirit of Brooklyn, we always say, is friendliness. And your husband's sermons aren't as much sermons as they are friendly talks.
Personally, I've always enjoyed my talks with Cardinal Gibbons. Or have I met him yet?
No, not yet, Teddy. Are the biscuits good?
Bully!
Mrs. Harper?
Oh, no, thank you. I'm afraid I'll have no room for dinner. I always eat way too many of your biscuits just to taste that lovely jam.
Well, you haven't tried the quince yet. We always put a little apple in it to take out the tartness.
No, thank you.
We'll send over a jar.
No, you keep it here. That way I'll be sure to have your lovely biscuits with it.
I do hope they don't make us use this imitation flour, what with the war and everything. It may not be very charitable of me to say, but this Mr. Hitler is not a Christian.
Only Europe. We're on another planet.
Europe!
Yes, Teddy?
Point your gun the other way.
Teddy.
To the west. There's your danger, there's your enemy. Japan.
Oh, yes,
Teddy.
No, Aunt Abby, not so much about the west and more about the canal.
Would you, like another cup of tea, dear?
No, thank you, Aunt Abby.
Mrs. Harper?
No, thank you. I must admit, though, the war and violence seem far removed from a place like this.
Yes, it is peaceful here, isn't it?
Yes, peaceful. The virtues of another day. They're all here in this house. The good, gentle virtues that went out with candlelight and good manners and low taxes.
Yes, it is just as it was when Grandfather Brewster built it, except for the electricity, and it was Mortimer who persuaded us to put that in. Oh, Teddy, Mortimer's going to be a little late.
Delighted.
Yes, Mortimer seems to be one that would live only by electric light.
Yes. I understand it's Elaine Mortimer's taking to the theater tonight.
Yes. It's a new experience for me waiting up for my daughter to come home at 3 in the morning.
Oh, I do hope you don't disapprove of our Mortimer.
Miss Abby, I admit Mortimer is a worthy gentleman. But I've been watching the relationship between the two of them with growing trepidation. For one reason, Miss Abby.
His stomach?
Stomach?
Oh, his dyspepsia. He suffers with it, the poor boy.
No, not a stomach. It's his unfortunate affiliation with the theater.
The theater? Oh, no! Mortimer writes for a New York newspaper.
He writes as a dramatic critic. Someone being around the theater that much may develop a taste for it.
Oh, no, not Mortimer. He hates the theater.
Really?
Yes, you can't blame him, the poor boy. He used to write about real estate, something he really knew a lot about. And then they made him take this terrible night position.
My.
And, but as Mortimer says, the theater can't last forever. And, in the meantime, it is a living. Well, yes, I think we should give the theater maybe a year or 2. Well, now who do you suppose that is? Oh, Teddy, I'll go. Why, Officer Brophy, won't you come in?
Hello, Miss Brewster.
What news have you brought me?
Colonel, there is nothing to report.
Splendid. Thank you, officer. At ease.
Do you know Mrs. Harper?
Hello, Mrs. Harper. I've come for the toys for the Christmas fund.
Oh, and it's such a wonderful thing you gentlemen do, fixing up those old toys so that poor children will have a good Christmas.
Well, it gives us something to do. Otherwise, you're sitting around the station, playing cards, and you start to clean your gun, and then the first thing you know, you've shot yourself in the foot.
Oh, Teddy, will you go up to Aunt Martha's room and get that box of toys, please? How's Mrs. Brophy today?
Oh, she's doing much better, thank you for
Oh,
asking.
she's been sick.
Oh,
Charge!
so sorry to hear that.
She is still a little weak, though, but she's doing much much better.
You know, I'll go get a bucket of, a barrel of broth for you to take to her.
Why, don't bother, Miss Abby. You've already done so much already.
Oh, it's no trouble at all. Sister Martha and I made it this morning, and she's taking some to Mr. Benitsky right now. I'll go get it. You two just make yourself at home.
She shouldn't go to all that trouble, but try and stop her or her sister from doing something nice and for nothing. Why, they don't even care how you vote.
When my husband first received the call to Brooklyn and we moved in next door, my mother was ill. And after she died, well, if I've ever known kindness or generosity, it's because I know the Brewster sisters.
Colonel, you promised to stop doing that.
But I have to call a cabinet meeting to get the release of those supplies.
He used to do that in the middle of the night. The neighbors raised Cain with us. Why, they're a little afraid of him anyways.
Oh, he's harmless.
Suppose he does think he's Teddy Roosevelt. There's a lot of worse people he could think he was. Damn shame, though. Nice family like that hatching a cuckoo. His father, the old girl's brother, he was kind of a genius, wasn't he? And their father, Teddy's grandfather, seems to me he was a little crazy, too. Crazy like a fox, though. He made $1 million.
Really? Here in Brooklyn?
Yep, patent medicine. He was kind of a quack of some sort. Seems old Sergeant Edwards remembers him, though. He used his house as some sort of clinic, tried him out on people. Made mistakes occasionally, too. The department didn't bother him much, though, because he was pretty good on the autopsy cases from time to time, especially poison cases. Yeah, well, whatever he did, he left his daughters fixed for life, thank God for that. Not that they ever spend any of it on themselves.
No, I'm well acquainted with their charities.
Why, you don't know a tenth of it. When I was with the Missing Persons Bureau, there was an old guy we were trying to track down. Never did find him. Anyway, do you know that this house is listed with a renting agency for a furnished room? They don't rent rooms, but you can bet. Anyone comes around here looking for a room to rent, they're gonna get a good meal and a few dollars in their kick. Just their way of digging up someone to be nice to.
Well, now isn't this nice?
Hello, Miss Brewster.
How do you do, Mr. Brophy? Mrs. Harper?
How do you do, Miss Brewster? I've come for the toys for the Christmas fund.
Oh, yes, Teddy's Army of Navy. They wear out. They're all packed.
Yes, ma'am. The colonel's up getting them already. He had to call a cabinet meeting to get it okayed.
Yes, of course. I do hope Mrs. Brophy is better.
Oh, she's doing much better. But your sister is on her way getting some soup for me to take to her now.
Yes, we made it this morning. I just took some to a poor man who broke ever so many bones.
Oh, Martha, you're back. How's Mr. Benitsky?
Well, dear, it's pretty serious, I'm afraid. The doctor was there. He's going to amputate in the morning.
Can we be present?
No. I asked him, but he says it's against the rules of the hospital.
You won't be of any service to them. You must spare yourself something.
Here's the broth for you, Mr. Brophy.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, it'll be fine. This will be fine. Oh, look. The old Mally boy really likes soldiers.
That's General Miles. I retired him. And what's this? The Oregon?
Teddy, dear, put that back.
But the Oregon goes to Australia.
Now, Teddy.
No, I've given my word to Fighting Bob Evans.
Why, does it really matter which boy gets the toys? Fighting Bob Evans, Izzy Cohen, does it really matter? Thank you, ma'am. This will make a lot of children really happy. I'll be on my way.
Thank you. Have a good day, Officer Brophy.
Goodbye.
I should probably be going.
Before you go, Mrs. Harper.
Just
San Juan Hill.
Have you ever considered persuading him that he's not Teddy Roosevelt?
Oh, no.
He's so happy being Teddy Roosevelt.
Well, there was this one time. Oh, do you remember, Martha? Oh, we thought if he was George Washington, it would be a great change for him.
But he stayed under his bed for days and just wouldn't be anybody.
And so we decided we would much rather him be Mr. Roosevelt than no one at all.
Well, I guess if you're happy, and what's most important, he's happy. Oh, which reminds me, I'll have the papers sent over later. Make sure that he signs them.
What papers are those?
Mrs. Harper has arranged for Teddy to go to Happy Dale Sanitarium.
Why should Teddy sign any papers now?
Better to have it all said and done now, in case, God forbid, something were to happen to the two of you, and he doesn't feel like signing them later. Besides, Dr. Witherspoon will hold them until the time is right.
Dr. Witherspoon? Who's he?
He's the superintendent of Happy Dale.
Mrs. Harper has arranged for him to stop over tomorrow or the next day to meet Teddy.
Well, I must be off. Elaine will be over here looking for me soon.
Oh, do give our love to Elaine and Dr. Harper. And please don't think harshly of Mortimer as he's a dramatic critic. Somebody has to do those jobs.
Did you just have tea? Isn't it rather late?
Oh, yes, dear. And dinner's going to be a little late, too.
So, why?
Teddy, good news for you. You get to go to Panama and dig a lock in the canal.
Bully, just bully. I shall prepare for my journey at once. Charge!
Abby, while I was out?
Oh, yes, I didn't know when you were coming back, and Mrs. Harper was coming for tea.
But all by yourself?
Well, I got along fine.
I'll run right downstairs
Oh,
and
no,
see.
there wasn't any time for that.
Oh. Well?
Martha, just look in the window seat. Well, now who do you suppose that is? Why, it's Elaine. Won't you come in, dear?
Good afternoon, Miss Abby. Good afternoon, Miss Martha. I thought Mother was here.
She just this minute left. Didn't you meet her?
No, I took the shortcut to the cemetery. Has Mortimer come yet?
Oh, not yet, dear.
He asked me to meet him here. Do you mind if I wait?
Not at all.
Won't you have a seat?
But we really must speak to Mortimer about doing this to you.
Doing what?
Well, he was brought up to know better. When a gentleman is taking a young lady out, he should call for her at her house.
There's something about calling for a girl at a parsonage that discourages any man who doesn't embroider.
Oh, but we will speak to him about this.
Oh, please don't. After young men whose idea of nightlife was taking me to prayer meetings, it's wonderful to go to the theater almost every night of my life.
It's comforting for us too, dear, because if Mortimer has to see some of those plays he has to see, at least he's sitting next to a minister's daughter.
Oh, my goodness, Elaine, what you must think of us with the tea things still out.
Now, don't bother with anything in the kitchen until Mortimer comes, and then I'll help you. Mortimer should be here any minute now.
Yes, Mother must have been surprised not to find me at home. I'd better run over and say goodnight.
It's a shame you missed her, dear.
If Mortimer comes, you tell him I'll be right back. Oh, hello, Mort.
Hello, Elaine. Hello, Aunt Martha.
Abby, Mortimer's here.
Were you going someplace?
I was just running over to tell my parents not to wait up for me tonight.
I didn't realize that sort of thing was still being done, even in Brooklyn.
Oh, hello, Mortimer. How are you, dear?
And Abby, you're looking well. You haven't changed much since yesterday.
Why, it was yesterday, wasn't it? Oh, we've been seeing an awful lot of you recently. Please, won't you come sit down?
Abby, haven't we
It was pretty obvious, wasn't it? A lack of inventiveness, I should say.
Yes, that's exactly what you'd say.
Where do you want to go for dinner?
I don't care. I'm not very hungry.
Well, I just had breakfast. Suppose we wait until after the show.
But that'll make it pretty late, won't it?
With the little stinker we're seeing tonight. From what I've heard about it, we'll be back. We'll be at Blake's by 10 o'clock.
You ought to be fair to those plays, Mortimer.
Are these plays fair to me?
I've never seen you walk out on a musical.
We're not seeing that musical tonight.
No?
Elaine, you've got to understand the rules. With a musical, there's always 4 changes in title, 3 postponements. It played well in New Haven, but it still needs a lot of work.
I was hoping it was a musical.
You have such a light mind.
Not a bit. Musicals somehow have a humanizing effect on you. After a serious play, we join the proletariat in the subway, and I listen to a lecture on the drama. After a musical, you take me home in a taxi, and you make a few passes at me, too.
And now listen, that's a very inaccurate piece of reporting.
Although I will admit that after the Berman play, you told me I had authentic beauty. Well, that's a hell of a thing to say to a girl. It wasn't until after our first musical that you told me I had nice legs. And I have, too.
For a minister's daughter, you sure do know a lot about life. Where'd you learn it?
In the choir loft.
Someday I'll have to explain it to you, darling. The close relationship between eroticism and religion.
Religion never gets as high as the choir loft. Which reminds me, Father and Mother must have been surprised not to find me at home. I'd better run over and say goodnight.
I'll never be able to rationalize it.
What?
My falling in love with a girl from Brooklyn.
Falling in love? I hope you're not stooping to the articulate.
The only way to regain my self-respect is to keep you in New York.
Did you say keep?
No, I've just come to the conclusion that you're holding out for legality.
I can afford to be a good girl for quite a few years yet.
And I can't wait that long. Let's find a place where we can be married. In a hurry, say tonight.
I'm afraid Father would insist on officiating.
Oh God, your father. He could make even a wedding ceremony sound pedestrian.
Are you by any chance writing a review of it?
Forgive me, darling, it's an occupational disease. I may give that play a good review tonight.
Don't pretend you love me that much.
Oh, and be sure to tell your father not to wait up for you tonight.
I think tonight I better tell them to wait up for me.
Well, I'll telephone Winchell and have them publish the banns.
Nevertheless.
All right, everything formal and legal, but no later than next month.
Oh, I'll run over and talk it over with Father. We'll set the date.
No. We have to check the rehearsal schedule. There'll be plenty of other opening nights in October.
Hello, Mortimer!
How are you, Mr. President?
Bully, just bully, thank you! What news have you brought me?
Just this, Mr. President. The country is squarely behind you.
Yes, I know. Isn't it wonderful? Goodbye. Goodbye!
Where are you off to, Teddy?
Panama!
Panama is in the cellar. He digs locks down there.
You're very sweet with him, and he's so fond of you.
Well, Teddy always was my favorite sibling.
Favorite? Were there more?
Just one, a sister, Joanna.
Joanna? I've never heard of her before. Your
No.
aunts have never mentioned her.
No, we don't like to talk about Joanna. She left Brooklyn at an early age, by request. She was the kind of kid who liked to split worms in two with her teeth.
Well, what became of her?
I don't know. She wanted to become a surgeon like my grandfather, but she didn't want to go to medical school first. Her medical practice got her into some trouble.
Aren't you two going to be late for the theater?
Oh, we're skipping dinner. We don't have to head out for another half hour yet.
Oh, well, I'll just leave you two alone together again.
Don't bother, darling. I need to run over and tell my parents good night. Before I go out with you, they like to pray over me a little bit. I'll be right back. I'll cut through the cemetery.
Well, if you make the prayer short, I can lead you by distilled waters first.
Why, Mortimer, that's the first time I've ever heard you quote the Bible. We knew Elaine was going to be a good influence on you.
By the way, I'm going to marry her.
Mortimer and Elaine are going to be married!
Married?
We knew it would happen like this!
Well, Elaine must be the happiest girl in the world.
Happy? Just look at her, leaping over those gravestones. Say, what's that?
What's what, dear?
On that statue there, that's a Horendanina Carnina.
Oh, no, dear. That's Emma B. Stout ascending to heaven.
Oh, on Mrs. Stout's left ear, that bird. That's a red-crested swallow. I've only ever seen one of those before in my life.
I don't know how you can think of a bird at a time like this. What with the engagement and everything?
That's a vanishing species. Thoreau was fond of them. By the way, last week I left a big red envelope that had my chapter of Thoreau on it from my book. Have you seen it?
Well, if you left it here, it must be here somewhere.
When are you going to be married? What are your plans? There must be something more you can tell us about Elaine.
Elaine? Elaine thought it was brilliant.
What was, dear?
My chapter on Thoreau.
Well, when Elaine gets back, I think we should have a little celebration. We should drink to your happiness. Martha, is there any more of that Lady Baltimore cake?
Oh, yes, yes.
And I'll open a bottle of wine.
Oh, and to think it happened in this room. Ah!
What?
Well, with your fiancé by your side tonight, I do hope you can enjoy the show a little. Maybe it'll be something romantic. What's the name of it, dear?
Murder will out.
Oh, dear!
The first thing you see when the curtain goes up is a dead body. You were making plans for Teddy to go to the sanitary. Happy now.
Yes, yes. Mrs. Harper brought over the papers today. Here they are.
Oh. Teddy's got to sign them right away.
Mrs. Harper thinks so there won't be any legal difficulties after we pass on.
And he's got to sign them now. Tonight. He's down in the cellar. Go get him. Right away.
There's no such hurry as that.
No, once Teddy gets his mind on digging the lock, you can't get his head on anything else.
He needs to go to Happy Dale now. Tonight.
Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? Why, as long as we live, we've never been apart from Teddy.
Right away, I tell you. Right away.
Oh, no, dear. That's not until after we're gone.
Listen, and Martha, and Debbie, I've got some shocking news to tell you. Now, we've all just got to keep calm. Now, you know how we've always humored Teddy because we thought he was harmless.
Why, he is harmless.
He was harmless. That's why he has to go to Happydale. Why he has to be confined.
Mortimer, how can you say such a thing? How can you turn on Teddy, your own brother?
You're going to have to find out sometime, and it might as well be now. Teddy's killed a man.
Nonsense, dear.
There's a body in the window seat.
Yes, dear, we know.
You know?
Of course, dear, but it has nothing to do with Teddy.
Well, who is he?
Hoskins, dear. His name is Adam Hoskins. And that's all we really know about him, except he's a Methodist.
That's all you know about him? What? What's he doing here? What happened to him?
He died.
Aunt Martha, men don't just walk into window seats and die.
Oh no, he died first, dear.
How did he die?
The man died because he drank the wine that had the poison in it. Now, Mortimer, stop being so inquisitive.
How did the poison get in the wine?
Well, we put it in the wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in tea, it has a distinct odor.
You put it in the wine?
Yes, dear. And then I put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because Mrs. Harper was coming for tea.
So you knew what you were doing. You didn't want Mrs. Harper to see the body.
Oh, well, no, Mortimer, that would not have been very nice. Now, Mortimer, you know the whole thing. Just forget about it. I do think Martha and I have the right to our secrets.
And don't you tell Elaine. Oh, Abby, while I was out, I dropped in at Mrs. Schultz. She's much better, but she would like us to take Junior to the movies again.
We'll have to do that tomorrow or the next day.
Yes, but this time we'll go where we want to go. Junior's not going to drag me into another one of those scary pictures.
Hello. Al, city desk. Hello, Al. Do you know who this is? Oh, that's right. Listen, Al, when I left the office today, I told you where I was going. You remember? Well, where'd I say? Oh, it's going to take me half an hour to get to Brooklyn. That's right. What time have you got? Oh, I must be here already. Hey, Debbie! Hey, Martha! Come in here! What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
What are you going to do about what, dear?
There's a body in there!
Yes, Mr. Hoskins, dear.
Oh, I can't just turn you into the police. Well, what am I gonna do?
Well, for one thing, dear, stop being so excited.
And for pity's sake, we told you to just forget about it.
Forget? Aunt Abby, how can I make you realize that something has got to be done?
Mortimer, you're much too old to be flying off the handle like this.
But Mr. Hotchkiss,
Hoskins, dear.
whatever his name is, you can't just leave him there.
We don't don't intend to, dear.
No, Teddy's down taking a look in the cellar right now.
You're gonna bury Mr. Hotchkiss in the cellar?
Oh, yes, dear. That's what we did with the others.
But you can't just bury Mr. Others?
The other gentleman.
When you say others, do you mean others as in more than one others?
Oh, yes, dear. Let me see. This is 11. Isn't it, Abby?
Oh, no, dear, this is 12.
Oh, I think you're wrong, Abby. This is only 11.
No, I remember when Mr. Hoskins came, I thought to myself that this would make just the even dozen.
Well, you really shouldn't count the first one.
Oh, I was counting the first one. And anyway, they're in the cellar.
Hello? Oh my God, it's good to hear your voice. No, Al, no. I'm as sober as a lark. Listen, Al, I called you because I'm feeling a little Pirandello. You wouldn't understand. Listen, Al, I need you to get a hold of George. He's got to cover the play tonight. I can't make it. No, Al, you're wrong. Well, I'll tell you all about it tomorrow, but well, get a hold of George. It's my department and I'm running it, aren't I? Now get a hold of George. Now where were we? 12!
Yes, Abby thinks we ought to count the first one. So that makes 12.
Now, Annie Martha, sit down. Who was the first?
Mr. Ridgely, dear, he was a Baptist.
Of course, I still think we can't claim full credit for him because he just died.
What Martha means is without our help. You see, Mr. Ridgely came looking for a room,
It was right after you moved to New York.
and we thought, well, how could we let this lovely room to go to waste when so many other people needed it?
He was such a lonely old man.
All his kith and kin were gone, and it left him so forlorn and unhappy.
We felt so sorry for him.
And then, when the heart attack came, and he sat in that chair so peaceful, we made up our minds then and there that if we could help other lonely old men to that wonderful, peaceful resting place, we would.
You just dropped dead right in that chair? How awful for you.
Oh, no, dear. Why, it was rather like old times. Your grandfather always had a cadaver or two around the house. You see, Teddy had been digging in Panama, and he thought Mr. Midgley was a yellow fever victim.
Which meant he needed to be buried at once.
So we all took him down to Panama and put him in the lock. Now that's why we told you not to worry about it, dear, because we know exactly what's to be done.
Well, that's how this all started. That man walking in here and dropping dead.
Well, of course, we knew that we couldn't always expect that to happen. And you know your Aunt Martha's knack for mixing things. You've eaten enough of her piccalilli.
Well, you remember those jars of poison that have been up on the shelves in Grandfather's laboratory all these years? So, dear, I take for a gallon of elderberry wine, I take 1 teaspoonful of arsenic, then add half a teaspoonful of strychnine, and then just a pinch of cyanide.
Should have quite a kick.
It does, and one of our gentlemen even had the time to say, "How delicious."
Well,
I do hope you can stay for dinner.
I really must get dinner started. I'm trying out a new recipe.
I couldn't eat a thing.
Oh, Mortimer, I feel so much better now that you know the whole thing. You do have to wait for Elaine, don't you? Well, I'll just leave you alone with your thoughts.
you.
Well, don't be cross, darling. Mother and Father could see how excited I was, so I told them about us. They made it hard for me to get away. But listen, they're not going to wait up for us tonight.
Listen, Elena, you run along home. I'll call you up tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
You know I call you up every day or two.
But we're going to the theater tonight.
No, dear, we're not.
Well, why not?
Something's come up.
What? Mortimer, have you lost your job?
No, I haven't lost my job. We're just not going to the theater tonight.
But what's happened? Certainly you can tell me.
No, dear, I can't.
But if we're going to be married...
Married?
Have you forgotten that not 15 minutes ago you proposed to me?
I did? Oh, as far as I know, that's still on.
Listen, mister, you can't propose to me one minute and then throw me out of the house the next.
I'm not throwing you out of the house. Please get out of here.
No, I will not get out of here. Not until I've had some kind of explanation.
Elaine! Hello? Hello, Al. All right, hold on a minute. All right, it's important, but it can wait for just a minute, can't it? Hold on. Now, look, Elaine. You're a sweet girl, and I love you very much. I've got something on my mind, and all I want for you to do is to go home and wait until I call you.
Don't try to be masterful.
I hope that when we're married and have problems, you're less tedious and uninspired.
And I hope that when we're married, if we're married, I find you adequate.
Elaine! 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 Hello, Al? Hello? Hello? Oh, hello, Al? Hello?
That's the doorbell, dear, not the telephone. Oh, well, will you come in?
I hear you have a room for rent.
Yes. How you come in?
Are you the lady of the house?
Yes, I am Miss Brewster, and this is my sister, the other Miss Brewster.
My name is Gibbs.
Well, good afternoon. Won't you come sit down? We were just setting the table for dinner.
Hello, Al? City desk.
May I see the room?
Why don't you sit down a minute and let's get
It's
acquainted?
not going to do me any good if we get to the room.
Hello, Al? City desk. Al! City desk! Sorry, wrong number.
Is Brooklyn your home?
Haven't got a home. Live in a hotel. Don't like it very much.
Are your family Brooklyn people?
Haven't got a family.
All alone in the world?
Yep.
Well, Martha? Won't you please sit down? Do sit. Try some of our wine.
Hello, Al. This is Mort. We got cut off. Listen, Al, I need you to get a hold of George. I can't cover the plate tonight. That's all there is to it. I can't.
What church do you go to? There's an Episcopal church practically next door.
I'm Presbyterian. Or used to be, anyway.
Well, what's George doing in Bermuda? Well, of course I told him he could go to Bermuda. It's my department, isn't it? Listen, Al, there's got to be somebody around the place. Take a look.
Is it always so noisy here?
Oh, he doesn't live with us.
Well, Al, take a look around the office. The office boy. You know, the bright one. The one we don't like. Yeah. Well, take a look.
I'd really like to see the room now, please.
I'll hold.
Won't you try some of our wine?
I don't drink wine. I never touch this stuff.
We make this ourselves. It's elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine? Well, I haven't had elderberry wine since I was a boy. Thank you.
Oh, Al, what about one of the printers? Sure. Oh, you know, the fellow who sets my type. You don't know about what I write. His name is Joe. He's the third printer from the left. Well, listen, Al. Who knows? He could be the next Burns Mantle. No, I'm not drinking. I'm about to start now.
Do you have your own elderberry bushes?
No, but the cemetery is full of them.
Do you serve meals?
Oh, we might, but why don't you see if you like our wine first?
Mortimer,
Mortimer, not that.
Is it against the law? It's not a very nice thing to do. People wouldn't understand. He wouldn't understand. What I mean is, this is getting to be a very bad habit.
Abby, we shouldn't have told Mortimer.
Mortimer, we do not tell you what you can do, and I don't think you should tell us what we can do either.
Hello. Hi, Al. All right. I'll see the first act, and I'll pan the hell out of it, but listen, Al, I need you to do something for me. I need you to get a hold of O'Brien, the lawyer, the head of the legal department. Have him meet me at the theater. All right, I'm counting on you, George. Yeah, I'm gonna head out now. All right. Listen, darlings, I've got to go to the theater. I can't get out of it, but listen, will you do something for me before I go?
We have to know what it was first.
I love you very much. And I know you love me. And you know I'd do anything in the world for you. Would you do just this one thing for me?
What would you like us to do?
Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Don't let anyone else in this house and leave Mr. Hoskins where he is.
Why?
Because I need time to think. And I've got quite a little to think about. I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to you.
What on earth would happen to us?
Anyway, you'll do this one thing for me?
Well, we were planning on holding services before dinner.
Services?
Certainly. You don't think we bury Mr. Hoskins without a full Methodist service, do you? Why, he was a Methodist.
Can't it wait until I get back?
And then you'll join us?
Yes! Yes!
Oh, Mortimer, you're going to love the services, especially the hymns. Oh, remember, Martha, how beautiful he used to sing before his voice changed?
So, you're not going to let anyone else in this house. It's a promise.
Well,
Martha, now that Mortimer is cooperating, I do suppose we could promise. All right, Mortimer, it's a
you have any paper? I'll be back as soon as I can. There's somebody I've got to meet.
Here you go, dear. Will this do?
Oh, that'll be fine. I can save some time if I write my review on the way to the theater.
Mortimer wasn't quite himself today.
You're right, Martha, but I think I know why.
Why?
Because when a man becomes engaged, it makes him a little nervous.
I'm so happy for Elaine and their honeymoon ought to give Mortimer a real vacation. He hasn't had much rest this summer.
Well, at least he didn't go kiting off to China or Japan.
I could never understand why he'd want to go to those places.
Well, I think for Mortimer, the theater has always been small potatoes. He's always needed something more to criticize, like the human race.
Oh, Abby, if Mortimer is coming back for the services for Mr. Hoskins, we'll need another hymnal. There's one in my room.
Oh, and Martha, I know that it is my turn to read services, but since you weren't here and Mrs. Harper, I think it only is right that you read services today.
Oh, that's very nice of you, dear. Are you sure you want me to?
It's only fair.
Well, I think I will wear my black bombazine and Mother's old brooch.
Well, now how do you suppose that is?
We promised Mortimer we wouldn't let anyone in.
Oh, you think we could take a look?
Well, let me look. It's a man and a woman, and I don't recognize them. There's a car at the curb. They must have come in that.
Well, let me take a look.
Do you recognize them?
You look like strangers to me.
Then we just better pretend we're not at home.
Come in, Doctor. This is the home of my youth. As a girl, I couldn't wait to escape from this place. Now I'm glad to be escaping back into it.
Yeah, Joanna, it's a fine hideout.
The family must still live here. There's something so unmistakably Brewster about Brewsters. I hope there's a fatted calf awaiting the return of the prodigal.
Yeah, I'm hungry. Oh, look, Joanna, drinks.
As though we were expected, a good omen.
Who are you? Who are you and what are you doing?
Why, Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, it's Joanna.
You get out of here.
I'm your niece, Joanna.
You're nothing like our niece Joanna. Who
But
are you?
I am Joanna. And this is Dr. Einstein.
And he's not Dr. Einstein either.
Not Dr. Albert Einstein, Dr. Herman Einstein.
Who are you?
I see you're still wearing the lovely garnet ring that Grandma Brewster bought in England. And you, Aunt Martha, still the high collar to hide the scar from where Grandfather's acid burned you.
Her voice is like Joanna's.
Have you been in an accident?
My face. Dr. Einstein is responsible for that. He's a plastic surgeon. He changes people's faces.
But I've seen that face before. Abby, do you remember when we took the little Schultz boy to the movies and I was so frightened? It was that face.
Easy, Joanna, easy. It's It's all right, ladies. The last 5 years, I give Joanna 3 new faces. I give her another one right away. This last face, well, I saw that picture too, just before I operate. I was intoxicated.
You see, Doctor, you see what you've done to me, even my own family.
But Joanna, you're home, in this lovely house. How often she tells me about Brooklyn, about this house, about her aunts that she loves so much. You know it's Joanna. Speak to her. Come on, tell her so. Tell her you know it's her.
Joanna, it's been so long. Where have you been all these years?
Yes, Joanna. Where have you been?
Oh, England, South Africa, the last 5 years, Chicago. Dr. Einstein and I were in business there together.
Well, we were in Chicago for the World's Fair.
Yes, we found Chicago awfully warm.
Yeah, it got hot for us too.
Well, it's wonderful to be in Brooklyn again. And you, Abby, Martha, you don't look a day older. And just as I remembered you, sweet, charming, hospitable. And dear Teddy, did he get into politics? My little brother, Doctor, was determined to become a president.
Teddy's fine, just fine, and Mortimer's well, too.
I know about Mortimer. I've seen his face at the head of his column. He's evidently fulfilled all the promise of his early, nasty nature.
We're very fond of Mortimer.
Well, Joanna, it's very nice to have seen you again.
Bless you, Aunt Martha. It's good to be home again.
Martha, we mustn't let what's on the stove boil over.
Oh, well, if you'll excuse us a minute, Joanna, unless you're in a hurry to go somewhere.
Well, Joanna, where do we go from here? We've got to think fast. The police! The police have got pictures of that face. I got to operate on you right away. We got to find a place for that, and we got to find a place for Mr. Spinozzo, too.
Don't waste any worry on that brat.
But Joanna, we got a hot stiff on our hands.
Forget Mr. Spinozzo.
And you can't leave a dead body in the rumble seat. You shouldn't have killed him, Joanna. He was a nice fellow who gives us a lift. And what happens?
He said I looked like Boris Karloff. That's your work, Doctor. You did that to me.
Joanna, if we find a place, I fix you up quick.
Tonight!
Joanna, I got to eat first. I'm hungry. I'm weak.
Well, Joanna, it was nice of you to stop by, taking the time to visit us, but you were never happy here, and we were never happy with you here, so we've come in to say goodbye.
And Abby, I can't say that your feeling toward me comes as a surprise. I've spent a great many hours regretting the many heartaches I must have given you as a girl.
You were quite a trial on us.
But my great disappointment is for Dr. Einstein. I promised him that no matter how rushed we were in passing through Brooklyn, that we'd stop here for one of Aunt Martha's home-cooked dinners.
Oh,
I'm afraid there won't be enough.
well, Abby, it's a pretty good-sized pot roast.
Pot roast.
I think the least we can do is to invite them for dinner.
Thank you, Aunt Martha. We'll stay to dinner.
Well, we'll just hurry it along then.
Yes!
And Joanna, if you would like to freshen up, you may use Grandfather's laboratory.
Is that still there?
Oh yes, just as he was when we left it. Well, I'm going to go help Martha so we can hurry this along.
Well, we get a meal anyway.
Grandfather's laboratory. And just as it was, Doctor, the perfect operating room.
Too bad we can't use it.
And when you're finished with me, why, we could make a fortune here. The laboratory, the ward in attic 10, beds, Doctor, and Brooklyn is crying for your talent.
Joanna, why work yourself up? And besides, for Brooklyn, I think we are a year too late.
You don't know this town, Doctor. Practically everybody in Brooklyn needs a new face.
But so many of the old faces are locked up.
A very small percentage. And the boys in Brooklyn are famous for paying generously to stay out of jail.
Take it easy, Joanna. Your aunts, they don't want us here.
We're here for dinner, aren't we?
Yeah, but after dinner?
Don't worry about it. Leave it to me. This house will be our headquarters for years.
That would be beautiful. This nice, quiet house. Those aunts of yours, such sweet ladies. I love them already. I go get the bags, yeah?
We have to be invited first.
But you just said it.
We'll be invited.
What if they say no?
Doctor, two helpless old ladies.
Ah, it's like comes true, a beautiful dream. Only, I hope you're not dreaming. It's so peaceful here.
That's what makes this house so perfect for us, Doctor. So peaceful. Yes, aunties, those 5 years in Chicago were amongst the busiest and happiest of my life.
And from Chicago, we go to South Bend, Indiana.
They wouldn't be interested in our experience in Indiana.
Well, Joanna, I think it's time to be on your way. We shouldn't have let you talk so late.
My meeting Dr. Einstein in London, I might say, changed the whole course of my life. You remember I was in South Africa, in the diamond business, then Amsterdam, the diamond market. I wanted to go back to South Africa. Dr. Einstein made it possible for me.
Hey, good job, Joanna. When I was finished and we took the bandages off, she looked so different. The nurses had to introduce me.
I loved that face. I still keep the picture around with me.
It doesn't look like you, but I still want to know you.
I think we'll go back to that face, Doctor.
Yeah, it should be safe now.
Well, Joanna, don't you think it's about time you get to where you're going?
My dear aunts, I'm so full of that delicious dinner I couldn't move a muscle.
Yeah, it's nice here.
After all, it's very late, and
I found it! I found it!
What did you find,
The
Teddy?
story of my life. My biography. Here's the story, here's the picture I was telling you about. There's you and me at Caliber Cut. President Roosevelt and General Groves. That's you and me.
My, how I've changed.
Oh, no, that picture hasn't been taken yet. They haven't even started work on Caliber Cut. We're still digging in the locks. And now if you'll accompany me to go inspect the locks.
No, Teddy, not to Panama.
Panama's a long way off. We go some other time.
Nonsense! It's just down in the cellar.
The cellar.
we let him dig the Panama Canal in the cellar.
As President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, and the man who gave you your job, I demand that you join me in inspecting the locks.
Teddy, I think it's time you went to bed.
I beg your pardon? Who are you?
I'm Woodrow Wilson. Go to bed.
You are not Woodrow Wilson, although your face, it does look familiar. No, I don't know you now. Let me see, perhaps I meet you on my hunting trip to Africa. Yes, you look like someone I might meet in the jungle.
This is your sister Joanna.
She's had her face changed.
Oh, I see. A nature faker.
Now, Teddy, I think it's time that you go to bed. Joanna and Dr. Einstein were just getting to their hotel.
General Goggles, inspect the canal.
All right, Mr. President, we go to Panama now.
Bully, it's right this way. Follow me, it's just down south here.
Well, bon voyage.
And Abby, I must correct your misapprehension. You spoke of our hotel. We have no hotel. We came directly here.
Well, there's a very nice little hotel just 3 blocks down the road.
This is my home.
But you can't stay here, Joanna.
Do you need my room?
Well, yes, we need them for our lodgers.
Are there lodgers here?
Well, not just right now, but we plan to have some.
Then my room is still free.
But there's no room for Dr. Einstein.
He'll stay in the room with me. Dr. Einstein and I need a place to stay. You remembered this afternoon that as a girl I could be disagreeable. Oh, I think it wouldn't be very pleasant for any of us if...
Well, perhaps we'd better let them stay overnight.
Okay, just for tonight.
That's settled now. If you'll get my room ready.
Oh, it only needs airing out.
Yes, we keep it ready for our lodgers. I am sure you and Dr. Einstein will find it uncomfortable.
You have a very distinguished guest in Dr. Einstein. I'm afraid you don't appreciate his skills, but you will. In a few weeks, you'll see me looking like a very different Joanna.
Can't operate on you here.
When we get organized, when we resume practice, oh, I forgot to tell you, we're turning Grandfather's laboratory into an operating.
We will not let you turn this house into a hospital.
A hospital? Heavens, no. A beauty parlor.
Hey, Joanna, down in the cellar.
Doctor, my aunts have invited us to live with them.
Oh, you fixed it.
Well, you're sleeping here just tonight.
Joanna, when I was down in the cellar, what do you think I find?
What?
The Panama
The
Canal.
Panama Canal!
It just fits Mr. Spinozzo. It's a whole teddy dog, 6 feet long and 4 feet wide.
Down there.
It's almost as if they knew we were bringing him along. That's hospitality.
Rather a good joke on my aunties. They're living in a house with a body buried in the cellar.
How do we get him in?
Yes. We can't just walk him through the door. We'll pull the car up between the house and the cemetery, and when they've gone to bed, we'll bring Mr. Spinozzo through the window.
Bed. Just think, we've got a bed tonight.
Easy, Doctor. Remember, you're operating tomorrow.
Joanna, I think you're beautiful.
And if you don't,
Now, we must pull the car around.
yes. Pull the car around and we'll bring him through the window.
Well, your room is ready, Joanna.
Then you can go to bed. We're bringing the car around behind the house.
Well, your car is all right where it is until morning.
I don't want to leave it on the street. That might be illegal.
Abby, what are we going to do?
Well,
What are we going to do about Mr. Hoskins?
oh, Mr. Hoskins. Well, Mr. Hoskins, we need to get him down into Panama. I think we should have, after they go to bed, we'll have them go to bed. After we go to bed, we will have Teddy bring the body down to the cellar, and then once everybody's asleep, we'll come down.
Abby, I will not invite Joanna to the funeral services.
Absolutely not. We will wait in for services until after they've gone to bed.
Oh, then after they've gone to bed, we can be dressed for the services.
General Gophers was very pleased. He says the blocks were just the right size.
Teddy, there's been some unfortunate news. We have another yellow fever victim.
Oh, dear me. This will be news and shocking to the general.
Then we mustn't tell him about it.
But it's Army regulations.
We wouldn't want to spoil his visit.
Sorry, this is out of my hands.
We need to keep it a secret.
Yes.
A state secret?
Yes, state secret.
Promise?
You have the word of the president. Cross my heart and hope to die. But where is he?
He's in the window seat.
How are we going to keep this a secret?
Well, after everyone's gone to bed, I'll turn out the light, and you take the body from the window seat down to the canal.
Very interesting. We've never had a yellow fever victim there before. It seems to be spreading.
Martha, you haven't even seen Mr. Hoskins yet.
No, I haven't. Can I see him now?
We're bringing the luggage through here. You two run along to bed.
Oh, I'm afraid we're not tired.
Well, you should go to bed. It's time. I came home to take care of you.
Well, we weren't planning to go until...
And Martha, did you hear me say go to bed? The instruments can go to the laboratory in the morning.
Well, I'll just wait here and turn out the lights.
Another flight, Doctor. Run along, Aunt Martha. All right, Aunt Abby. Now, Aunt Abby, turn out the lights. I'll get the window open. You go around and hand him through.
No, he's too heavy for me. You go outside and push. I stay here and pull. Then together we get them down to Panama.
All right. I'll go and take a look around outside. When I tap on the glass, you open the window.
All right, Joanna. Who left this open? And you? Wait, we lost a leg somewhere. All right, I got it. Oh, ow. Shh, that was me, Joanna. I slipped.
Be more careful.
All right. Oh, no. We lost a shoe. Joanna, someone's at the door. I managed to go quick.
Miss Abby. Miss Martha. Miss Abby. Miss Martha. Miss Abby. Miss Martha. What was that? Is someone there? Who are you? Who are you? I'm Elaine Harper. I live next door.
Then what are you doing here?
I came over to see Miss Abby and Miss Martha.
Turn on the lights, Doctor. You chose rather an untimely moment for a social call.
I think you'd better tell me what you're doing here. Where are Miss Abby and Miss Martha? What have you done with them?
We happen to live here.
You don't live here. I'm here almost every day, and I've never seen you before.
Perhaps we'd better introduce ourselves. This is Dr. Einstein.
Dr. Einstein?
He's a surgeon of great distinction and something of a magician.
And I suppose you're going to tell me you're bored.
I'm Joanna Brewster.
Oh, you're Joanna.
So you've heard of me.
Well, yes. Just this afternoon for the first time.
And what did they say about me?
Well, just that there was another sibling named Joanna. Well, that's all that was said. Well, that explains everything. I'll just be running along home now. If you'll kindly unlock the door.
That explains everything. Just what did you mean by that? What are you doing here at this time of night?
I thought I saw someone prowling around the house.
You thought you saw someone prowling around the house.
Well, yes, but isn't that you? Isn't that your car?
You saw someone at the car.
Well, yes.
What was the man doing at the car?
He was just going from the car to the house.
What else did you see?
Nothing. I was on my way over here to tell Miss Abby to call the police.
What else did you see?
Nothing.
I think she's lying.
I think she tells the truth. We let her go now, huh?
I think she's lying. Breaking into a house at this time of night? I think she's dangerous. She shouldn't be let around
Take
loose.
your hands off of me.
The doctor!
It's going to be a private funeral.
Teddy, tell these men who I am.
Oh, that's my daughter, Alice. John!
Oh, Teddy!
Doctor, your handkerchief.
What's the matter?
What's happening down there?
We've caught a burglar, a sneak thief. Go back to your room.
What's the matter? What are you doing?
We've called the police. Go back to your room.
Where have you been?
To the North Base Theater. I should have known better. My God, I'm still there.
Sister Joanna.
I've
I
come
know
back.
this isn't a nightmare, but what is it?
I've come back home, Mortimer.
Who'd you say this was?
This is your sister Joanna. She's had her face changed. And Dr. Einstein performed the operation.
Joanne, you always were a horror, but did you have to look like one too?
Mortimer,
Easy, Joanna. Easy.
have you forgotten the things I used to do to you when we were kids? The time you were tied to the bedpost, the needles under your fingernails.
My God, it is Joanna. I always remember you as the most vicious, venomous, detestable form of animal life I've ever met.
Now, you two don't quarrel the minute you see each other.
Oh, we're not going to fight, Aunt Abby. Joanna, you're not welcome here. Get out.
We've been invited to live here.
Not in this house.
Just stay for the night.
I don't want her anywhere near me.
Well, and it wouldn't be very nice for us to go back on our invitation.
All right. Just for tonight. First thing in the morning, out. Where are they going to sleep anyway?
Well, we decided to put them in Joanna's old room.
But that's my room. I'm sleeping there and I'm staying.
Oh, Mortimer, I'm so glad.
Joanna, we sleep downstairs.
You're darn right you're sleeping downstairs.
You sleep on the sofa. I sleep on the window seat.
The window seat, Joanna, why? Let's not argue about this. The window seat is perfectly fine for me. I'll stay.
Oh, this argument reminds me of Mr. Spinoza.
And also, well, now, Mortimer, it really isn't necessary to inconvenience you like this. We'll sleep down here.
Your sudden concern for my well-being, Joanna, is rather unconvincing.
Come along, Joanna. We get our things from upstairs.
Don't bother, Doctor.
Mortimer, no need to sleep down here. I'll go in with Martha and you take my room.
It's no trouble, Aunt Abby. We'll be packed in a few minutes, and then Mortimer can have the room.
I told you, don't bother. I'm sleeping down here.
Mortimer,
Elaine, what's the matter?
I've nearly been killed.
It's nearly Aunt Abby and
No, it was Joanna.
She mistook her for a sleep thief.
No, it's more than that, Mortimer. She's a maniac.
Elaine, you're trembling. Do we have any smelling salts?
No, but do you think maybe some hot tea or coffee?
Coffee, yeah. And make some for me, too. And some sandwiches.
Oh, we'll make something for both of you.
Martha, I think we can leave our hats down here.
Were you going somewhere? Do you have any idea what time it is? It's after 12. 12! Oh, Elaine, you need to get going.
What? Oh, but you wanted some coffee. Well, I'll go get it.
Yes, don't you remember? We're going to celebrate your engagement. Yes, that's what we'll do, dear. We'll make a nice supper for both of you.
All right.
Oh, and we'll open a bottle of wine.
No wine!
Mortimer, what is going on in this house?
What do you mean, what's going on in this house?
We were supposed to go to dinner and the theater, and then you canceled. One minute you proposed to me, and the next minute you're chasing me out of the house. Just now, when your sister tries to strangle me, you try to chase me home. Now, before I go anywhere, Mortimer, I need to know one thing. Do you love me?
Elaine, I love you very much. In fact, I love you so much that I can't marry you.
Have you suddenly gone crazy?
I don't think so. but it's only a matter of time. You see, Elaine, insanity, it runs in my family. It practically gallops. That's why I can't marry you, dear.
You're going to have to do better than that.
No, dear, there's a strange taint in the Brewster blood. If you really knew my family well, it's what you'd expect if Strindberg had written Hell's a Pop.
Now, sure, Teddy's a little bit...
No, it goes way back. Back to the first Brewster. The one who came over on the Mayflower. You know how the Indians used to scalp the settlers? He used to scalp the Indians.
Well, that's ancient history, Mortimer.
And then see, it's my whole family, my grandfather. He used to test out his patent medicines on dead people to make sure it wouldn't kill them first.
He can't be that crazy. He made $1 million.
And then there's Joanna. You said so yourself. She's a maniac. She tried to kill you.
Yes, but that's her, not you. I'm in love with you.
And then there's Ted. He thinks he's Theodore Roosevelt. No Brewster should marry. I realize now that if I'd have met my father in time, I'd have stopped him.
Well, what about your aunts? They're Brewsters, and the sanest, sweetest people I've ever met.
Even they have their peculiarities.
Yes, but lovely peculiarities. Kindness, generosity, human sympathy.
There's another one!
Well, there are plenty more. You can't tell me anything about your aunts.
No, and I'm not going to. Elena, you were alone home. Something has just come up.
Well, what? What's come up? We're here alone together.
Well, I understand that I'm acting irrationally, dear, but put it down to the fact that I'm a mad Brewster.
If you think you're going to get out of this by acting crazy, you're insane. You may not want to marry me, but I'm going to marry you. I love you, you dope.
Well, if you really love me, then you'll get the hell out of here.
Well, at least walk me home. I'm frightened.
Have a little walk through the cemetery?
Can I at least get a kiss goodbye?
Of course, dear. Good night, Elaine. I'll call you up in a day or two.
You critic!
And Abby and Martha, come in here.
We'll be in a minute.
Come in here now.
Yes, dear, what is it? Where's Elaine?
I thought I told you not to let anyone else in this house while I was gone.
Well, Joanna
I
just
don't
walked
mean
in.
Joanna.
And Dr. Einstein
I
was
don't
with
mean
her.
Dr. Einstein either. Who is that in the window seat?
Mr. Hoskins, dear, we told you.
This is not Mr. Hoskins.
Well, now, who do you suppose that is? Well, this is a fine how do you do. It seems to me that everybody just thinks that they can waltz right in here.
Are you trying to tell me you've never seen this man before? Aunt Abby.
Mortimer, that man's an imposter, and if he thinks he's going to be buried in our cellar, he is sadly mistaken.
Aunt Abby, don't try to get out of this one. You admitted to me that you put Mr. Hoskins in the window seat.
Yes, I did.
Well, he didn't just get the idea from Mr. Hoskins. By the way, where is Mr. Hoskins?
He must have gone to Panama.
Oh, you buried him.
Oh, no, not yet. Well, with Joanna in the house, we haven't had a minute. Oh, we always have wanted to hold a double funeral, but I will not read services for a perfect stranger.
Aunt Abby, how can you expect me to believe you? There are 12 dead men in the cellar, and you admit you poisoned them.
Yes, I did. But Mortimer, you wouldn't think that I'd stoop to telling a fib, would you? Martha, come in here!
you'll get, Joanna. I've decided that you and your doctor friend are getting out of this house as quickly as possible.
I'm glad you recognize the fact that you and I can't live under the same roof, but you've arrived at the wrong solution. Take your suitcase and get out.
Your act is beginning to bore me, Joanna.
Mortimer, just because you've graduated from the black fence to the typewriter, don't think you've grown up.
If you think that I can be frightened, if you think that there's anything I fear,
I've lived a strange life, Mortimer. But I've learned one thing, to be afraid of nothing.
Martha, just look at what's in that window seat.
Abby. Oh, yes. Joanna, let Aunt Martha see what's in the window seat. And Abby, I owe you an apology. But I have some good news. Joanna is leaving, and she's taking Dr. Einstein and their cold companion with them. Now, Joanna, you're my sister, and you're a Brewster. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to get away and take the evidence with you. You can't ask for much more than that. Very well. I'll just have to, in that case, call the police.
Don't reach for that telephone. Are you still giving me orders after seeing what's happened to Mr. Spinozzo?
Spinozzo?
I knew he was a foreigner.
Remember, what happened to Mr. Spinozzo can happen to you too.
Oh, Officer O'Hara, can we do something for you?
Oh, Miss Abby, nah, I saw the lights on. I was worried that there might be a sickness in the house. Oh, you got company. Oh, I didn't mean to disturb you.
Oh, no, come on in.
Oh, yes, please, come in.
Come right in, Officer O'Hara. This is our nephew, Mortimer.
Oh, nice to meet you.
And this is our niece, Joanna.
Well, the pleasure is mine. It must be nice having your relatives visiting you. They staying with you long?
Oh, I'm staying. My sister Joanna is just leaving.
Oh, yeah. Haven't I seen you somewhere before? I don't think so.
Yes, Joanna, you'd better hurry. All your things are packed anyway, aren't they?
Well, you'll be one to see you goodbyes. I'll get out of your way.
Oh, listen, Officer O'Hara, I'd like you to stick around until my sister leaves.
Really, I just came in to make sure everything was all right.
We're about to have a cup of coffee.
Oh, I forgot the coffee!
Won't you join us?
Oh, really, I'm due to, don't bother, I'm due to bring in a few minutes.
You could stick around for a cup of coffee.
And I'll make some sandwiches. I ought to know your appetite by this time, Officer O'Hara.
Really, Miss Martha, you don't need to bother, I'm due to ring in.
Listen, join us. You can stick around for just a minute. Joanna will be leaving any minute. Sit down.
Haven't I seen a picture of your sister around here somewhere?
I don't think
I
so.
swear she looks awfully familiar.
You know, she has the face of somebody you've probably seen in the movies.
I don't watch movies. Hate them. Mother used to say they're busted up.
Well, it is full of them. Your mother said that, huh?
Yeah, my mother was a stage actress. Oh, maybe you know her. Her name was Peaches Latour.
Sounds like a name maybe I've heard in a program somewhere. What'd she play?
She made a name for herself during the show Black and Jeff. Ran for 3 seasons. I was born on tour.
You were?
Yeah. Sioux City, Iowa. started happy me in the second act, made it to the finale.
What a trooper. Must be a story in your mother somewhere.
Well, there better be.
Oh, you know, I write for the theater.
You do? Hey, you're not Mortimer Brewster, the dramatic critic, are you?
Yes?
Oh, am I glad I met you? Did you know you and me? We're in the same line of business.
We are?
Yeah, I'm a playwright. Oh, don't let this whole being on the force thing fool you. It's just temporary.
How long have you been on the force?
12 years. But I'm just collecting, material for this play that I'm writing.
I bet it's honey.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. All the drama I've seen. Mr. Brewster, you don't know Brooklyn.
I think I do.
Say what time you got?
12 after 1.
Aw, gee, I gotta ring in.
Oh, Harold, about that play of yours, maybe I could help.
Gee, really? Oh, you helped me? Oh, gee, it was fate me walking in here today. All right, sit down, I'll tell you the plot.
Oh, Joanna! You're leaving. Good.
Well, everything's just about ready. Oh, are you leaving, Joanna? Goodbye. Goodbye, Dr. Einstein. But doesn't this case belong to you?
Oh, Joanna, you can't leave without all of your things. Officer O'Hara, well, it was very nice meeting you. We'll have to get together sometime and talk about your play.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere.
Why not?
You said you were going to help me write a play. You and me, we'll write a play together.
I can't do that. I'm not a creative writer.
You don't gotta do no creating. I'll do the creating, you just put down the voice.
But O'Hara...
No, I ain't leaving this place until I tell you the plot. Well, in that case, Mortimer will be running
Oh,
along.
don't you try that. You can't leave until you've taken everything with you. Officer O'Hara, you run along now.
I can't wait. I've been waiting 12 years.
What?
I'm sorry I was so long.
Don't bring that in here. Officer O'Hara, won't you join us for a bite in the kitchen?
The kitchen?
Joanna's leaving.
Oh, well, that's nice. Come along, Officer O'Hara.
You sure you won't mind eating in the kitchen?
Then where else would you eat?
Goodbye, Joanna. Goodbye, Dr. Einstein. It was nice to have seen you again.
I'm glad you came to Brooklyn, Joanna, because it gives me the opportunity to throw you out. And the first one of you out is your boyfriend, Mr. Spinalzo.
Hey, Mr. Brewster, they got a whole bunch of sandwiches in here.
I'll be right in. Get out now. All three.
Doctor, this thing between my brother and me needs to come to an end.
Joanna, we've got trouble enough. He gives us a chance to escape. What more could you ask?
You don't understand, Doctor. This goes back a great many years.
Come on, Joanna, let's get going.
No, we're not going anywhere. We're going to sleep right here.
With a cop in the kitchen and Mr. Spinalzo in the window seat?
That's all he's got on us. We'll take Mr. Spinalzo and dump him in the bay, then come right back here. And if he tries to interfere...
Now, Joanna.
Doctor, you can see that I've made up my mind.
Yeah, when you make up your mind, you lose your head. Brooklyn ain't a good place for you.
Doctor!
All right, we got to stick together. And someday we get stuck together. If we're coming back here, do we got to take these with us?
No. Leave them here. Hide them in the cellar. Move fast. Spinalzo can go out the way he came in.
Hey, Joanna!
What? What?
In the cellar. You know that hole?
Yeah?
We got an ace in the hole. Come on, I show you.
Joanna! Joanna! Joanna!
Yes, Mortimer.
I thought I told you to get out.
We're not going anywhere.
Oh, you don't think I'm serious, do you? You don't think that I'll tell Officer O'Hara about what you've got stored in the window seat?
We're staying right here.
Very well, then. That gives me the opportunity to get rid of you and Officer O'Hara at the same time. Officer O'Hara, will you come in here?
If you tell O'Hara about what's in the window seat, I'll tell him what's in the cellar.
The cellar?
There's an elderly gentleman down there who seems to be very dead.
What were you doing in the cellar?
What's he doing in the cellar?
Now, thank you, ladies, I had plenty. Now, what were you going to tell O'Hara? Hey, so your aunts want to hear the plot. Should I get him in here?
You've got to ring in, Officer O'Hara. You run along.
To hell with bringing it in. I ain't leaving here until I tell you the plot. Let me go get him.
Oh, not in front of all these people. Let's find a place where we can meet alone. Say someplace later.
Like the back room at Kelly's?
Fine, the back room at Kelly's. Perfect.
All right, I'll meet you at the back room at Kelly's. Why don't you two go down in the cellar? Oh, sure, we could go down in the cellar. I don't really care. We can go wherever.
No, the back room at Kelly's is perfectly fine. You run along and ring in, and I'll meet you there.
All right, but it's only going to take me like 2 minutes to ring in.
I'm gonna ditch this guy, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'll expect to find you gone. Wait for me.
Oh, we'll wait for him, all right.
We got him right where we want him. Did he look guilty?
Wonder where my aunts are. Sure they'd like to know about this.
Oh, someone didn't leave.
That was just Mortimer. He'll be back in a few minutes. Is there any food left in the kitchen? I think Dr. Einstein and I would enjoy a bite to eat.
But you won't have time.
No, if Mortimer comes back and you're still here, he won't like it.
Oh, he's got to like it.
Go get us some food while we bury Mr. Spinalto in the cellar.
Oh,
There's a friend of Mortimer's down there waiting for him.
A friend of Mortimer's?
I think they'll get along just fine. They're both dead.
no. They must mean Mr. Hoskins.
Mr. Hoskins?
Yes, you can't bury Mr. Spinalso down there.
Mr. Hoskins is one of our gentlemen.
Your gentleman?
And we won't have any strangers buried in our cellar.
But Mr. Hoskins...
Mr. Hoskins isn't a stranger.
Besides, there's no room for Mr. Spinalso. The cellar's crowded already.
Crowded with what?
There are 12 graves down there.
12 graves!
Well, yes. 12 graves.
You mean that you and Aunt Martha have murdered us?
Certainly not. It is one of our charities.
Why, what we've been doing is a mercy.
You've done all that in this house and buried them down there.
Joanna, we've been chased all over the world. They stay right here in Brooklyn and do just as good as you do.
What?
They've got 12 and you've got 12.
I've got 13.
No, Joanna, 12.
13. There's Mr. Spinalso, the first one in London, the 2 in Johannesburg, the 1 in Sydney, the 1 in Melbourne, The 2 in San Francisco, 1 in Phoenix, Arizona,
Phoenix?
the filling station. The 3 in Chicago and the 1 in South Bend. That makes 13.
But you can't count the one in South Bend. He died of pneumonia.
He wouldn't have gotten pneumonia if I hadn't shot him.
Yes, but he died of pneumonia. He don't count, Joanna.
He counts with me, I say 13.
No, you've got 12, and they've got 12. The old ladies are just as good as you.
Oh, are they? Well, that's easily remedied. All I need is 1 more. Just 1 more.
Well, here I am.
This is our house and this is our cellar. You can't do that.
There's no use you're doing what you're doing because it will just have to be undone.
Abby, Martha, go upstairs.
Go back upstairs where you belong.
I tell you, we won't have it, and you better stop it right now.
All right, you'll find out. You'll find out whose house this is.
I'm warning you. You better stop it. Just right now. Where has Mortimer gone?
Mortimer isn't back yet.
Just can't believe she's burying a foreigner with a Methodist.
I will not have our cellar desecrated.
Where's Mortimer running around in a time like this?
I don't know where he went, but he must be doing something because he said to Joanna, "You just wait. I'll settle this."
Well, how can he settle what's down there when he's out there and what needs to be settled is right down there?
All right, here I am. Where's Teddy?
Mortimer, where have you been?
I went over to Dr. Gilchrist. I got his signature on Teddy's commitment papers.
Mortimer, what is the matter with you?
Running around getting papers signed at a time like this. Do you know what she's doing?
Do you know what Joanna is doing?
She is putting Mr. Hoskins and Mr. Spinoza together.
Oh, she is, and she will let him. Is Teddy in his room?
Teddy won't be any help.
Well, once Teddy signs his commitment papers, then I can tackle Joanna.
Oh, Mortimer.
What have the papers got to do with that?
You had to go and tell Joanna about the 12 graves down there. Now, if I can make Teddy responsible for those, then I can protect you, don't you see?
Mortimer, we pay our taxes, and I think we should call the police.
The police? You can't go to the police.
Why can't we?
Because if you go to the police about Mr. Spinoza, they're going to find Mr. Hoskins, too. And if they find Mr. Hoskins, well, that might make them curious. And then they'll find your other 12 gentlemen.
Mortimer, I believe that if we ask the police not to pry into our affairs, they won't.
Now, if the police find your other 12 gentlemen, they're going to have to report you to headquarters.
Oh, I'm not so sure they'd bother. Why, they'd have to write out a very long report. And if there's one thing a policeman hates to do, it's to write.
You can't depend on that. It might leak out, and you can't expect a judge and a jury to understand.
Oh, Judge Coleman would.
We know him very well.
He always comes to church to pray right before election.
He's coming for tea. He promised.
Oh, Abby, we must speak to him again about that. His wife died a few years ago, and it's left him very lonely.
Well, Mortimer, we're going to get the police.
Oh, no, you can't. I won't let you. And you're not having Judge Coleman over for tea.
Well, why not?
We may have to go to the police, but if we do, I want to be ready first.
You've got to get Joanna out of this house.
I'm going to get her, but please let me do this in my own way. I've got to see Teddy.
Well, Mortimer, if they're not out by the morning, then we'll go to the police ourselves. We'll take care of it.
They'll be out, I promise. Now go to bed, will you? For God's sake, get out of those clothes. You look like Judith Anderson.
Well, Abby, that's a relief, isn't it?
Yes, dear. I'm so glad Mortimer says he'll take care of it.
It's all done. Did I hear Mortimer?
Well, Joanna, you've gone to a lot of unnecessary trouble. You just need to undo it.
It's all done.
Well, you better undo it. Mortimer says you need to leave.
Well, I'll deal with Mortimer. Why don't you two run along to bed?
Yes. Come, Abby.
Good night, aunties.
Oh, it's not good night, Joanna. It's goodbye. You'll see Mortimer.
Mortimer is going to get you out of this house by morning, and he has a way of doing it too.
I'll see Mortimer.
That's done. Smooth like a lake. No one would ever know they were down there. Oh, that bed feels good already.
You're forgetting, Doctor.
What?
My brother Mortimer.
Oh, Joanna, tonight? We do that tomorrow or the next day.
No. Tonight. Now.
Joanna, I'm tired. And I got to operate tomorrow.
Yes, you're operating tomorrow, but tonight we take care of Mortimer.
Please, Joanna, we go to bed, eh?
No. This happens tonight.
I know that look. All right. What do we do?
I think this calls for something special. I think perhaps the Melbourne method.
No, not that. 2 hours. And when it was all over, he was just as dead as that fellow in London with the quick twist.
There was no aesthetic satisfaction. We had to work too fast, but Melbourne, there was something to remember.
Remember, I wish I didn't. No, Joanna, not Melbourne, not me.
Yes, Doctor, where are your instruments?
I won't do it, Joanna, I won't.
Where did you put them? Oh, yes, you hid them. Where are they?
I won't say.
Ah, in the cellar. Where?
I'm not doing it, Joanna.
I'll find them.
Don't do that, Mr. President.
I cannot sign any proclamation without consulting my cabinet.
But it must be kept a secret.
A secret proclamation? How unusual.
Japan mustn't know until after it's signed.
Japan? Those devils? I shall sign it right away. But then I will call my cabinet.
Let's do it, Mr. President.
All right, but a secret proclamation must be kept in secret.
Of course.
But first I must put on my signing clothes.
You go now, eh?
Oh. No, I can't go now. I'm waiting for something very important.
Please, you go now while you can.
Listen, Doctor, you seem like a nice fellow. I have nothing against you personally. Take my advice. Get out of this house and get as far away as quickly as possible.
Trouble? Yeah. Get out quick.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you.
I'm warning you. Go now.
Things are gonna start popping around here any minute.
Listen, Joanna's in a bad mood. When she gets like this, she's a mad woman.
Joanna doesn't worry me.
Ah, Himmel! Don't you learn anything from those plays that you see?
Like what?
Well, at least the people in plays act But they got sense. That's more than you do.
Oh, you think so, do you? You think the people in these plays act intelligently? I wish I had to sit through some of the things I've got to sit through. Take the little opus I saw tonight. In this play, there's a man. And he's supposed to be bright. And he knows he's in the house with murderers. He ought to know that he's in danger. He's even been warned to get out of the house. Instead, he stays. Now I ask you, Doctor, does that sound like a man who's acting intelligently?
You're asking me?
He doesn't even have the sense to be frightened, to be on guard. The murderer even invites him to sit down.
Oh, you mean, won't you sit down?
Believe it or not, that was in there too.
And what did he do?
He sat down. Now, he sits there with his back to the murderer, just waiting to be trussed up. And guess what they used to tie him up with?
What?
The curtain cord.
Oh, well, why not? It's convenient.
A little too convenient, if you ask me. I mean, where are these playwrights going to use some imagination? I mean, a curtain cord?
Well, he didn't see him get it?
No, he didn't see him get it. He sits there with his back to the murderer. And they say that it's the critics that are killing the theater. It's the playwrights that are killing the theater. This is the stuff I've got to sit through night after night. So there he sits, the big dope, with his back to the murderer, just waiting to be trussed up and gagged.
You're right about that fellow. He wasn't very bright.
Now, if you don't mind, Mortimer, we'll finish the story. I've been gone 20 years. And in all that time, I never once forgot about you. In Melbourne one night, I dreamed of you. Then, when we landed in San Francisco, I felt a strange satisfaction. Once more, I was in the same country with you. Now, Doctor, we go to work.
Okay, but say quickly, Joanna, for
No.
me. Joanna!
This must really be an artistic achievement. After all, we're performing in front of a very distinguished critic.
Oh, Joanna!
Now, Doctor, all ready for you.
But I need a drink first. Please, I can't do this without a drink. When we came in this afternoon, there was wine, remember? Where did she put that? Huh? Look, Joanna, we got a drink. Just a bit, huh? I split it with you. All right. Quickly.
Now, Doctor, where are your manners? Mortimer, I realize now that it was you who brought me back to Brooklyn. Doctor, to my dear dead brother.
God!
Damn that idiot! He goes next. That's it. Teddy goes next.
No, not Teddy. That's where I stop. I won't do it.
We get to Teddy later.
We don't get to Teddy at all.
Now we have to move fast, Doctor.
All right. This is a quick twist like in London.
Yes, the quick London way. Hey, what's going on in here? The colonel's got a good pull with that horn. Don't worry, officer. We're taking the bugle away from him. It's gonna be hell to pay in the morning. I promised the neighbors he wouldn't do it anymore.
We'll take care of it. Good night, officer.
I gotta speak to him myself. Where's the light switch here? Hey! You stood me up! What's wrong with him?
He's explaining the play he saw tonight. This is what happened to the fellow in the play.
This is what happened to the guy in the play you saw tonight. Oh man, they took that right from my second act! Oh! Right into the part where it's all getting ready and well, I better start at the beginning. So my mother is, she's sitting in her boudoir, right? And she, oh, right, sorry. Now, you know what? I should tell you the plot first. So, my mother, she's sitting there putting her makeup on, right? And this guy with a black mustache walks in, and he says, Miss Latour, will you marry me? He doesn't know she's pregnant. So, she's laying there unconscious right on the table, and this guy's coming over with a hatchet, and I'm tied up, just like you are, and the place is an inferno of flames. It's on fire! Anyway, through the window it comes, you'll never guess, Mayor LaGuardia. Hey, take it easy on that, right? You don't pay for it.
I'm listening, ain't I?
Well, what'd you think?
It put Joanna to sleep.
Yeah, leave it alone. She can't stay awake enough to listen to my plot. She don't get nothing to drink. So where was I? Oh yeah, right. So it's 3 days later, and I'm on charges, and I've been transferred because I lost my badge. And I'm following this guy, right? Who it turns out is really following me. Don't answer that. So, I think I'm gonna get the one-ups on him, right? So I cross the street and I see this abandoned building.
It's cops! Joanna, it's cops!
So I get inside the building, right? And I brace myself against the walls. And I pull out my gun. And I say, come in. Ruby!
What the hell's going on here?
I was just telling them to fly the play.
Well, did you have to tie him up to get him to listen to you? Forget it. Hey, Joe, you better call in. They got a big manhunt out looking for you.
Well, they sent you over here to look for me or something.
I didn't know you was here. I came because I needed to warn the old ladies the colonel blew the bugle again in the middle of the night. The way the neighbors are calling in, you'd think the Germans dropped a bomb on Flatbush Avenue. Oh, the lieutenant's on a warpath. He says the colonel has got to be put away someplace.
Yes.
All right, well, let me just get to the third act real quick. We'll just finish it up here. So,
Don't wait for me.
well, I mean, Mr. Brewster, I know the first two acts run a little long, but I really don't see anything we could cut.
You can cut it all out.
Hey, do you know what time it is? It's almost 8 o'clock in the morning. Joe, you better call in. Hey, who the hell is this?
That's my sister.
Oh, the one that ran away? So she's back.
Yes, she came back.
Hey, this is Brophy. Give me Mac. Hey, Joey, better let him know that I found ya. Hey, Mac, you can tell the lieutenant he can call off the big manhunt. We got him. In the Brewster house. You want us to bring him in? Oh, okay, we'll keep him here. Okay, bye. The lieutenant's on his way over.
So I've been turned in, eh? All right. You've got me. And I suppose you and that stool pigeon brother of mine will split the reward.
Reward?
All right.
Now I'll do some turning in. You think my aunts are these sweet, charming old ladies, but they've got 13 bodies buried in the cellar.
Hey,
Teddy!
watch what you're saying about those ladies. They're friends of ours.
I'll prove it to you. I'll show you. Come with me.
Wait a minute.
You don't want to see what's in the cellar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wait.
I'll show you. Hey, just go down to the end of the cellar, all right?
Hey, I don't think I want to go down in the cellar with this one. Did you take a look at that puss? She looks like Boris Karloff. Hey, Johnny, no! Well, what do you know about that?
What the hell are you doing here? I told you. I was gonna handle this.
Wait, I don't always trying to do it.
What happened? You put up a fight?
Well, this ain't the guy that blew the bugle. This is his sister. She tried to kill me. All I said was she looked like Boris Karloff.
Turn her over.
We kind of think maybe she's wanted someplace.
Oh, you kind of think she's wanted someplace. If you guys don't look at the circulars I posted at the station, at least you can be true detective. Certainly she's wanted someplace. In Indiana. Huh. Escaped from the prison of the criminally insane. She's a lifer. That's what the circular said. She looked like Karloff.
Was there a reward mentioned?
Yeah, and I'm claiming it.
Well, she was trying to get us in the cellar. She was talking about like 13 bodies in the cellar.
Yeah, 13 bodies in the cellar, and that didn't tip you up she's from the nut house?
See, I knew as soon as she started saying about those 13 bodies in the cellar, I knew she was crazy.
Oh, Shakespeare! Where you been all night? You need to bother to tell me. Oh.
Well, I was just, telling Mr. Brewster here about my play.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're gonna have plenty of time to write your play. Because you're suspended. Now get back to the station and check in.
Hey, Sarge, you think maybe I could come by the station sometime and use the station?
No, get out of here! All right. Let's get this one out of here as well. Come on. All right. Oh, you know what we gotta do too, right?
What's that?
We're gonna have to. Oh, yes, we're gonna have to go to look for accomplice too. You know, the one that helped her escape.
No.
Oh, jeez. No wonder Brooklyn's in the shape it's in. The police had, full of flatheads like yourself. 13 bodies in the cellar.
Well, there are 13 bodies in the cellar.
Who the hell are you?
I'm President Roosevelt.
That's the guy that blows the bugle. Hello, Colonel.
Oh, you've blown your last bugle, Colonel.
Oh, dear me. Another yellow fever victim. What? All the bodies in the cellar are yellow fever victims.
No, Colonel. This is the spy we caught in the White House.
Get her out of here.
Oh, if that's a spy, I'll handle that. That's mine.
I don't know. You stay out of this.
I'll have you know that as president, I'm also in charge of the Secret Service.
Captain, I'm Mortimer Brewster.
Are you sure?
Listen, Captain, I'd like to talk to you about my brother, Teddy, the one who blew the bugle.
There ain't no talking about him. He's got to go today.
Oh, I quite agree. In fact, it's all arranged for. See, Dr. Gilchrist, our family's physician, signed it, and Teddy signed himself, you see, and I signed as next of kin.
Where's he going?
Happydale.
Yeah, I don't care. As long as he goes.
Now, about everything that's on around here, I want you to know that Teddy's responsible for it. So about those 13 bodies in the cellar.
The 13 bodies in the cellar. Oh, yeah. It's bad enough he's frightening all the neighbors and then disturbing the peace with the bugle thing, but now with that complicated story about 13 bodies in the cellar, and now he's trying to scare everybody with the yellow fever. Oh, cute, ain't it?
13 bodies in the cellar.
Yeah, right.
Who would believe
trouble out there. Yeah, you know, about a year ago, this crazy guy, he started this murder rumor in Greenpoint. Yeah, and it was, oh.
Will you excuse me? Oh, hello, dear.
Good morning, Mortimer. This is Mr. Witherspoon. He's come to see Teddy.
To see Teddy.
Mr. Witherspoon is the superintendent of Happydale.
Oh, come in. Come on in. This is Captain Rooney.
No, Lieutenant Rooney. Great to meet you, Super. And you're taking him with you today.
Today? I didn't know that.
Not today.
Listen, Elaine, I've got some very important business to attend to, so you run along home. I'll call you up in a day or two.
Nuts.
I didn't realize it was this immediate.
Yeah, you know, he signed the paperwork, and he's going with you today.
Complete insubordination! I'll have you men know I'm no mollycoddle!
There's your man, Super.
When the country comes to this, they treat the president like this? What is this country coming to?
Just a minute. Mr. President, I have some good news. Your term of office is over.
Dear me, is it March the 4th?
Practically.
What does that mean? Oh yes, that means I go to my hunting trip to Africa. I shall get started immediately. Is he trying to move into the White House before my term is up?
Who, Teddy?
Taft!
No, Teddy, this isn't President Taft. This is your guide in Africa, Mr. Witherspoon.
Oh, well I shall get started immediately. Hello? Bully. And Tabby, and Mother, I'm off to Africa. Charge!
Good morning, aunties.
Oh, we have visitors.
Oh, this is Lieutenant Rooney.
Well, how do you do, Lieutenant Rooney? Why, you don't look like the fuss budget policemen say you are.
The lieutenant here was you see, Teddy blew his bugle again last night.
Yes, we're going to speak to Teddy about that.
Oh, it's a little more serious than that, Miss Brewster.
Oh, and this is Mr. Witherspoon, the superintendent of Happydale.
Oh, Mr. Witherspoon, how do you do?
You've come to meet Teddy.
Oh, no, he's called the Take Teddy.
Oh, no.
Not while we're alive.
You see, the police want Teddy to go tonight.
No, he can't go tonight.
Well,
I'm sorry, Miss Brewster. He's got to go tonight. You know, he signed the paperwork. He's going tonight with the superintendent.
well, no. If he goes, then we're going to. Come, Martha.
Yes, you'll just have to take us with him.
Sorry, ladies, but the law is the law. You know, he's committed himself. He's got to go.
Well, why not?
Well, that suited them to want to. But it's impossible. We can't take sane people at Happydale.
Mr. Witherspoon, if you'll let us live there with Teddy, we'll see that Happydale is in our will, and for a very generous amount.
Well, Lord knows we could use the money, but I'm afraid.
Now, let's be sensible about this, ladies. For instance, here I am wasting my morning when I got more serious things to do. You know, like, there's murders to be solved in Brooklyn.
Yes. Oh, are they?
You know, it's not only his bugle blowing and people being all afraid of him and stuff, but, you know, sooner or later I'm going to have to come back here and dig up the cellar.
Our cellar?
Yeah, he's talking, your nephew's been telling about 13 bodies in the cellar.
But there are 13 bodies in our cellar.
Oh, if that's why you think Teddy has to go away, you come down to the cellar with us and we'll prove it to you.
Oh, there's one, though, Mr. Spinoso. He can't stay, but the rest are our gentlemen.
Oh, now listen, aunties, the lieutenant doesn't want to go down into the cellar and spend all that time. He was just telling me about a few years ago digging Greensboro, wherever that was, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, right.
Well, he wouldn't have to dig. The graves are all marked, and we put flowers on them every Sunday.
Flowers? You sure you ain't got room for him, Superintendent?
Well, They'd have to be committed.
Well, couldn't they commit themselves? Teddy committed himself. Couldn't they sign the papers?
Certainly.
Yes, yes. If we can go live there with Teddy, we'll sign the papers. Where are they?
Yes, where are they?
She's coming around, Lieutenant.
All right. All right. 13 buys.
You signed right there.
And you here, Aunt Abby?
Oh, I just can't wait to go. This neighborhood has changed so much.
Just think, a front lawn again.
Well, we're overlooking something.
What?
You're going to need the signature of a doctor.
Oh. Dr. Einstein! Dr. Einstein, come here for a minute.
Oh, please, I really must be going.
Come here. We've got some papers for you to sign. At one point last night, I thought the good doctor was going to operate on me. You sign right here, doctor.
Doctor, were you leaving?
Oh, yes, I really must be going.
Aren't you going to wait for Joanna?
I don't think we're going to the same place.
Elaine, glad to see you. Stick around, huh?
I'm going to.
Hey, Matt. Yeah, it's Rooney. Yeah, we picked up the perfume. Yeah. Hey, could you read me the conference paperwork? Yeah, it's next to my desk. All right. 5'8", brown hair, brown eyes, about 180 pounds. All right. Oh, who's this? Is a doctor? German accent. Great. Thanks, Mac.
It's all right, Lieutenant. The doctor here has just completed the signatures.
Oh, great. Hey, thanks for doing us a good service, Doc. Appreciate it.
Now, Mr. Brewster, you signed as Leslie's king.
Oh, right here?
That's fine.
All right then. Everything complete? Everything legal?
Oh, yes.
All right, aunties. Now you're safe.
Well, then, when do you think you'll be ready to start?
Dr. Witherspoon, will you go up and tell Teddy what he can take along?
Upstairs?
Yes, please.
I'll show you, Mr. Witherspoon.
No, Mortimer. You stay down here. We need to talk to you. Yes, Dr. Witherspoon, up the stairs and turn left, please. Thank you.
Well, Mortimer, now that we're moving, this house really is yours.
Oh, no. There's too many memories.
Oh, dear, we really want you to stay here.
And you'll need a house when you and Elaine are married.
Oh, that's rather indefinite.
It's nothing of the kind. We're going to be married right away.
Mortimer, we're worried about something.
Well, don't worry. You're going to be perfectly happy at Abbeydale.
Oh, yes, we're very happy about the whole thing. That's just it. We don't want anything to go wrong.
Will they investigate the signatures?
I don't think they'll look up Dr. Einstein.
It's not his signature, dear. It's yours.
You see, you signed as next of kin.
Of course, why not?
Well, dear, it's something we never wanted to tell you, but now you're a man, and it's something Elaine should know too. You see, dear, you're not really a Brewster.
I'm not really a rooster?
No.
Well, don't feel badly about it, dear.
You see, your mother can't to us as a cook, and, well, you came 3 months later, and she was such a nice woman and such a good cook that, well, brother married her.
Elaine, did you hear that? Do you understand? I'm a bastard!
Well, I guess I'll be getting breakfast started. Yes, yes.
Oh, don't bother. I'm going to take Mortimer home. Father's leaving for Philadelphia, so Mortimer and I are going to have breakfast together.
Oh, and some coffee. I've had quite a night.
Well, then I should think you would want to go to bed.
I do.
One moment, Mr. Witherspoon. Take this with you.
You won't need the wagon. My car's out front.
Oh, you leaving now, Joanna?
Yeah, she's got some people in Indiana that want to take care of her for the rest of her life.
Well, goodbye, Joanna. It was nice to see you again. I hope you have, it's so nice to know you found a place to go too.
We're leaving too.
We're going to Happydale.
Then this house is seeing the last of the Brewsters.
Oh, unless Mortimer wants to live here.
I have a suggestion. Why don't you turn this place over to the church?
Well, I never thought of that.
After all, it should be part of the cemetery.
Come on, let's go. Let's get out of here. Come on.
Well, I can't better my record now, aunties, but neither can you. At least I have that satisfaction. The score stands even. 12 to 12.
Joanna always was a mean girl. Never could stand to see anyone get ahead of her.
I wish we could show her she wasn't so smart. Well, Mr. Witherspoon, does your family live with you at Happydale?
I don't have a family.
Well, I suppose you consider everyone at Happydale your family.
I'm afraid you don't understand. As head of the institution, I have to remain quite aloof.
Oh, that must leave you very lonely.
It does, but my duty is my duty.
Well, Martha, if Mr. Witherspoon won't join us for dinner, the least we could do is offer him a glass of our elderberry wine.
Elderberry wine?
We make this ourselves.
Why, yes. Of course, at Happydale, things would have to be more formal. But here, you don't see much elderberry wine nowadays. I thought I'd had my last glass.
Oh, no.
No. Here it is.